Hey guys, welcome to probably, I think, episode 4 of the bike build series. Today is a pretty exciting episode. We're going to be throwing on some graphics on my bike, well, on some plastics, and then we'll be putting on my bike. So I'm going to hop right in. We're supposed to leave on our trip in 2 days, so I'm kind of running behind. I'm going to do a quick little tutorial on installing the front number plate, and then after that I'm just going to fly through. But before we get to that, I have some awesome footage from the guy who prints my graphics for me, Blake Sheeman at FamaMX Design. He recorded some of the printing process, so a big shout out to him and thanks to him for printing these for me. Make sure to check them out in the link below. With that being said, let's jump right in to watching those clips, and then we'll get into the tutorial kind of guide.
Stay here on the ground. It's overrated. The cityscape escapes you with a sound. It's delineated. I waited at the station for an hour, but I won't make it. You take off on an uptap by the tower, and you overtake it. Every moment I see you on the rise, you're drawn across the sky. Now that ink has dried, I can't tell you why. Oh, Mimi, can you tell me there's an issue? I've seen it clouded all around you. Why can't you tell me there's an issue you've seen before? Oh, Mimi, can you tell me there's an issue? I've seen it clouded all around you. Why can't you tell me there's an issue you've seen before? And I can't tell you why. Oh, I can't tell you why. Why you have to stay here on the ground? It's overrated. The cityscape parades you with a sound. It's delineated. No one here has even learned your name, but they all claim that they saw you land and plan to do the same, but they won't make it. Every moment I see you on the rise, you're drawn across the sky. Now that ink has dried, and I can't tell you why.
So when it comes to installing graphics, obviously the more practice you have, likely the better you're going to be at it. I've done quite a bit at this point, so I just kind of freehand things. By freehand, I mean you literally just peel the graphic off the backing paper and start sticking it. For someone who's just getting started, I recommend only peeling back a part of it. Generally, you want to peel out the center and then work your way out, so that way you can work out any bubbles. But before you even start applying any graphics, even if you have brand new plastics like me, you need to clean them. I always use just brake clean It just leaves no oily residue. You need an alcohol-based cleaner to do that. So use a brake cleaner along with a microfiber, especially even on brand new plastics. Obviously, if you are reusing plastics, you need to get all of the old oily residue and gunk off from there. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean my plastic. Generally speaking, I wouldn't recommend paper towels for this. You really want to do it with a microfiber so you don't leave particles from like a paper towel left over on the plastic, because sometimes you can't see that. So like I'll use like if I see a particle, I'll try to brush it off with my hand real quick, but obviously you just want to get it all off with the rag. Another important tool is a heat gun. I just have this super cheap one that was actually given to me a long time ago, and it's lasted me ever since. So after cleaning it, I usually hit it with the heat gun just to make sure all the brake cleaner is evaporating. So you actually got a hair on there. I'm gonna quickly get out with my finger. Obviously, your fingers have oils in them, so you don't want to just touch it with your fingers. You want to, once it's clean, you want to keep it clean. So a lot of graphics companies, they come with the outline already cut or trimmed around the outside. This one was not. So if you get your graphics and it's not trimmed, I recommend taking scissors, trimming this around, laying it out over your plastic, so you can see where everything lines up and just give you a general good idea. And I recommend doing that for all of your parts and pieces. So but I've installed this number plate a few times now, so I'm just going to jump right in. I know where it needs to sit on the bottom here. I work from the center, get it lined up in the center down here at the bottom, and then make sure it lines up, and it lined up perfectly with my corner. I want my corner lined up on both sides, and obviously I want it lined up in the bottom. Now there is going to be a little crease here. That's not a big deal. I'm going to work that out with the heat gun. Obviously the more sharp the contours are of the plastic, the more likely there are to be creases that you have to work out. Now, a lot of companies, they come with a squeegee that you can use. You have a squeegee like this. This has nice soft material on this side, which makes it really easy to make sure there's no air bubbles, and it also protects your graphic. If you are having an issue getting in like a crease or something, you can use this side. Just be aware it may scratch your graphics a little bit. But personally, I'd rather have a slightly scratched graphic than a bubble on my graphics. So if you do choose to freehand it like I'm doing right now, obviously be aware of this edge. Don't let it get like stuck on your couch or whatever. I do like installing graphics while the plastics are on the bike, but in this case it's cold outside and you don't want to install your graphics when it's freezing. So I'm going to install these on the plastics inside here, and then I'll go put them on after a couple days to let them sit in the warm temperature. You did notice I just had to peel that back up. Don't be afraid to peel it up and start over if you have to work out a bubble. I've done it a lot. It's amazing what heat will do. If you have to peel something up and it's not laying out quite right, just hit it with some heat, and it just becomes way more easier to handle it. You see this part, this front number plate's pretty easy. That's another thing I recommend, is starting with the easier pieces and then working your way out. So I actually have a bubble right here that I didn't get out. So what I'm going to do is see if I can work it with a squeegee to the edge. It actually went right away. I don't trust that, but I can't see it, so it's not there. Sometimes if you have to peel up the edge, you can do that. Just be careful that you don't stretch it too much and it becomes deformed, because then you're going to have a wrinkle there that you're not going to be able to get out. So now we're going to work down where I call the trouble area is. A little more sharper contours here. This actually is laying out really nice. Just a little wrinkle here or there, nothing too crazy. So let's say you've got a bunch of wrinkles like that. I could work that out with my hand, but I'm going to show you what a heat gun will do. Obviously don't get too close, and you don't want to get the thing so hot that it just falls apart. But with a little bit of heat, you barely put any pressure on it, it goes right where you want it to go. So heat is your friend. The only time I don't recommend using a lot of heat with your graphics is if you get a matte finish. Because if you get your matte finish too hot, it'll actually start turning glossy again, so it can mess with your finish. But that is a front number plate install. I think it went pretty smooth. Now when I'm all done, I will hit all of the edges with heat just to make sure everything's stuck good. Especially if you have some trouble edges, you want to go over it with heat after you're done. And sometimes after you do your whole install and you let it sit and you come back a couple hours, you might notice some edges peeling up. Just hit it with the heat gun, press it down again, and likely the second time it'll stick. But I will say that also comes back to making sure you have a clean surface to start with. If you don't have a clean surface, it doesn't matter how much heat you use, it's going to peel back up. So that's why it's important to have a good cleaner, which brake clean is a good way to just know you're going to get a good result. So there's a front number plate. I'm going to start rolling through the rest of these plastics, and I'll talk to you guys when we're putting them on the bike.
The burning pain, listening to you harp on about some new soulmate. She's so perfect, blah blah blah. Oh, how I wish you'd wake up one day, run to me, confess your love. At least just let me say that when I talk to you, won't you bet what's right through and shoes right out through my heart. What's a girl to do, lying on my bed staring into the blue? Unrequited, terrifying love is driving me a bit insane. Have to get this off my chest. I'm telling you today that when I talk to you, won't you bet what's right through and shoot right out through my heart. Confess I loved you, just thinking